Clavicular is what Marquis de Sade warned us about. In the 18th century, the Marquis de Sade shocked French society with literature that explored the darkest extremes of human desire, arguing that pain, subjugation, and cruelty were not just natural, but a form of twisted liberation. Fast forward to 2026, and the internet has birthed a new algorithmic manifestation of this philosophy. An influencer known as Clavicular. Real name Braden Peters, Clavicular has built a lucrative empire on the back of the looks-maxing and incel communities, advocating for extreme physical self-mutilation in the pursuit of an idealized male aesthetic. De Sade warned us of the horrors that emerge when humanity reduces itself to pure, unapologetic flesh. Clavicular is the modern embodiment of that warning, a digital sadist demanding his followers smash their own bones at the altar of the algorithm. The brutality of hard-maxing. To understand the clavicular phenomenon, one must understand the bleak lexicon of his community. While soft-maxing involves basic grooming and haircuts, clavicular is the patron saint of hard-maxing. This involves taking anabolic steroids, injecting fat-dissolving peptides, and partaking in the barbaric pseudo-scientific practice of bone smashing, literally hitting one's face with a hammer to microfracture the bones, hoping they heal into a more pronounced, hypermasculine jawline. This is where the Marquis de Sade's ideology perfectly overlaps with modern internet culture. De Sade viewed the body as a canvas for violence in the name of personal gratification. Today's teenage boys, desperate for social currency, are applying that violence to themselves. To clarify how the looks-maxing community views the necessity of this painful physical transformation, we can look to the wisdom of Joey Tribbiani. It's like a cow's opinion. It just doesn't matter. It's moo. In the eyes of Clavicular and his followers, a good personality, kindness, and humor are a moo point. Only physical symmetry, facial angularity, and collarbone width matter. The inner self is entirely irrelevant. The echo chamber of despair. The tragedy of Clavicular's influence lies in the demographic he targets. He preys on the insecurities of vulnerable, isolated young men, feeding them the black pill, the nihilistic belief that their genetic traits have doomed them to a life of romantic and social failure, unless they undergo radical, painful alterations. These communities operate in isolated, paranoid corners of the internet. They dissect the angles of each other's hunter eyes and assign themselves numerical scores on a rigid hierarchy, completely detached from reality. To explain the convoluted logic and intense paranoia of these forums, one only needs to quote Phoebe Buffay. They don't know that we know they know we know. The community operates on the delusion that they have unlocked the secret truth of human biology that the rest of society is too naive to accept. When a new recruit joins a looks-maxing forum and realizes the sheer horrifying amount of physical pain they are expected to endure to ostensibly become attractive, the community's response mirrors Monica Geller's iconic tough love line, "Welcome to the real world. It sucks. You're gonna love it." The illusion of control. At its core, this trend is a desperate grasp for control in an uncontrollable world. De Sade's characters sought power through the absolute domination of others. Clavicular's followers seek power through the absolute brutal domination of their own anatomy. When bone structures inevitably fail to align with the impossible standards of social media, the community's reaction to cosmetic surgery and forceful facial restructuring is perfectly encapsulated by Ross Geller trying to move a couch up a stairwell. Pivot, pivot, pivot. No matter how much damage is done or how poorly a procedure goes, the answer is always to forcefully adjust, pivot, and break something else to make the aesthetic fit. The brittleness of the facade. For all his bluster about achieving supreme social dominance through physical perfection, Clavicular's ideology is incredibly fragile. When confronted about the misogyny and danger of his platform during a recent 60 Minutes Australia interview, Clavicular threw a tantrum and stormed out rather than face accountability. Beneath the steroids, the bone smashing, and the algorithmic fame, there is a hollow core. The Marquis de Sade died in an asylum, driven mad by his own relentless obsession with the darkest impulses of the flesh. Clavicular is steering a generation of young men down a similar path of self-destruction. And watching this unfold on our screens, one can't help but channel Chandler Bing. Could this be any more depressing? If we don't start addressing the underlying isolation that drives young men to these extremes, we will continue to see the ghosts of 18th century sadism resurrected in the feeds of the 21st century.